Marshall Mathers the Fourth. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I mean the Joker. Now I want to talk about your ridiculous name change later on in the video, but I wanted to start out by saying that you're a crybaby and a coward, and I dare you to have it out with me in the comments section of this video. And I wanted to say that first because I'm hoping that you hearing that will make you stick around and watch the whole thing and not click away from the video like the little bitch that you are. I haven't made a video on you in a really long time, and that's because of YouTubers like Pebrick and Royal on Air who do such a good job at responding to all the bullshit that you post to YouTube. One of the main things that made me come forward and make this video is that I found out from Pebrick that you quit your job. You didn't get fired, you quit on your own. I was assuming that you got fired because of how often you were ditching work, and you're also bragging about it in your community posts. So, Marshall, I wrote down some points that I want to touch on in this video, and it's 2 fucking pages, front and back. That's how fucked up you are that it took 2 pages of points that I have to touch on in this video. So let's get started. First off, I don't believe for a second that you're a right-wing conservative. I think that you are a socialist. You're either in denial about it or you can't see it yourself. I think that you're a socialist because, first off, at your most recent job, you wanted to unionize the company within 3 weeks of having a job there. And the fact that you never brought that up again after those community posts you made about it means that you probably got laughed out of the room by everyone there that the new guy who hasn't even been working here a month wants to unionize the company. And the YouTuber Fucky Wucky, the one who made the video about how you're Bernie Sanders Jr. and then proceeded to cut down the trees in your woods, he's dead on accurate by saying that. You are Bernie Sanders Jr. And I'll keep going to explain why. You said in the comment section of one of your videos, because I read the comments of your videos just like Pebrick does, that you want to be paid for doing absolutely nothing, and that's your dream job. You said you want to receive a paycheck for doing absolutely nothing at all. That's called wanting to be a permanent welfare recipient and live off the government, Marshall. That's socialism right there. And you know what else? AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the congresswoman, when she got into Congress, one of the first big things she did was she unveiled legislation called the Green New Deal. You might remember that. And one of the provisions in that legislation was guaranteed paychecks for people who are unwilling to work. That's right up your alley, Marshall. You would get a paycheck for sitting on your ass and doing absolutely nothing. That's your dream job, after all. So yeah, you're pro-socialism. You just can't see it. You're also a socialist because while you claim to hate rich people, you sure do want all their money. I mean, you recently said that you doxed yourself hoping that a rich person will buy you your $10,000 gaming computer and ship it to your house. You fucking idiot. So that's wealth transfer, Marshall. Wealth transfer from the rich is a key principle of socialism. So, Marshall, is this starting to add up for you? Are you starting to see that you're a socialist? You also want wealth transfer from your subscribers. You claimed in that video you made about how you got this job that you had most recently that it's everyone else's fault that you had to get a job because no one in your subscriber base would send you money. That it's our fault that you had to get a job because we wouldn't send you money so that you could sit on your ass and be a paid NEET and not work. That's wealth transfer, Marshall. So you want people to go out, bust their ass all day at work, and then send you their money so that you don't have to work. That is wealth transfer, you socialist. Also, your parents called you a Marxist, you said, because of how often you're complaining about your job. You said in your video you made, I hate my job, which I rolled my eyes at that because you've done this at every job you've had so far. We're about a month in, you hate it, and you want to quit, you want to go out of your way to get fired, and you say that you can start complaining about your job to your parents when that happens, and you said in that video that your parents started calling you a Marxist because of how often you're complaining about your job. So yeah, Marshall, you're a socialist. You just can't see it. You also say that you hate capitalism. And I'm starting to think that you would want socialism instead of capitalism. So yes, you are a socialist. Don't try and deny it anymore. If you can come out on YouTube and admit that you're a furry, you can come out on YouTube and admit that you're a socialist. And I'm not saying this to criticize anyone who supports socialism. I don't care what your political beliefs are. I'm just saying that Marshall's got it wrong in his own personal political beliefs. He's a socialist. He's not a right-wing conservative. All right, so next. Marshall, you complain constantly. You're a chronic complainer, like the title of this video says. All complaints, no action. That's the next bullet point I made for myself to touch on. All you do is complain about every single fucking thing. You complaining about e-girls recently. You're complaining about how expensive everything is. You're complaining about movie release dates. Like, what the fuck? Don't you think your life would get better if you stopped complaining and actually took action to make things better for yourself? And by the way, that starts by you getting a job and holding down a job, dumbass. Okay, so another thing I wanted to touch on here is that you say that your dream job is to be an actor, which it's not. We already covered that. Your first job is to get paid to do absolutely nothing and sit on your ass. So your second most dream job is to be an actor. And since you're such a chronic complainer, I think that you would honestly complain about being an actor and start to hate your job as an actor if you ever became one. You know, being an actor, I mean, I don't know a lot about it because I'm not an actor, never want to be an actor, but you know, I know that it's hard work. You got to go to script readings. You got to sit in the makeup chair for hours. You got to refilm scenes multiple times. Like, I've had to refilm this video multiple times because I keep messing up. So it's not all cut and dry and so easy, Marshall. It takes a lot of work to be an actor. There's going to be times where you mess up your lines and you have to refilm the scene. There's going to be times when your co-stars mess up their lines and you have to refilm the scene. There's going to be times when the director just didn't like how the scene came out when you filmed it that time, and you have to redo it. And I could see you totally getting annoyed and complaining that I hate being an actor because of things like that. You'll find a way to complain about every single little thing in life. You need to stop complaining. You need to suck it up. You need to realize that the world's not always fair. You're not always going to get what you want, and you're not going to get anywhere by constantly complaining. All right, so what's next here? Let's see. Yeah, your work ethic, Marshall. You can't hold down a job for shit. You've been through 3 jobs already. 3 jobs. The past 2 are temporary jobs. You can't even hold down a temporary job, and that's fucking pathetic. You can't even hold down a temporary job. Now, your first job at Popeyes, that was fucking ridiculous because you pretty much claimed that you quit that job because one of your female coworkers there, you thought she was cute. Then you found out she had a boyfriend, so you didn't want to work there anymore, so you just went ahead and quit just because she had a boyfriend. You fucking idiot. And another thing, Marshall, you're building a very weak resume for yourself. You know, you're going to have to list your employment history for your next job. And how do you think it's going to look to the next employer when they see that you have 3 jobs only at the age of 26? Yeah, you're going to be 26 in February. That's right. 3 jobs at 26, and they're also short-lived. It's going to look bad to any future potential employers. You're starting to build a very weak resume for yourself. And that's not good. That's going to hurt your future employment prospects. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, also, Marshall, you have no desire to work. Pepbrick's right when he says you're afraid of any job. You will look for any and all excuses to not work. Like, what the fuck do you expect? Do you really think you're just going to live off your parents rent-free for the rest of your life? I've seen in your comment section of some of your recent videos that your yes men are encouraging that. Some of your yes men are saying, bro, just live off your parents forever. Who cares? Don't ever do anything for yourself. Just keep living off your parents. Well, fuck that. You really think that they're going to let you live off them forever? You just said in one of your latest videos that they threatened to cut off food if you didn't get a job. They're not going to let this keep going on. Eventually, they're going to say, Isaac, get a job or get out. You don't think that's coming, but that's coming. Mark my words. And another thing, Marshall, like Pebbrick's touched on too, what are you going to do when your parents pass away and you can't live there rent-free anymore? You've said that you have several siblings, and they're probably not just going to will the house just solely to you. They're probably going to give each of you a stake in the house, and your siblings might want to sell it and divide up the money from the sale. You're going to be out on the street if that happens, because you're not responsible with money. You're just going to be right out on the street or living in a homeless shelter. That's why you need to support yourself and get out on your own before that even happens, before your parents pass away. And I know that they would want to see you living out on your own and supporting yourself, not living there for their entire lives. And then when they're gone, you're still there at their house. Let's see here. Another thing, Marshall, you don't want to work for anything that you even want. You want all these expensive gaming computers, gaming PCs, like PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, whatever the fuck. I don't really play video games. But you won't even work for that. You made, like, your recent video that you hate e-girls, you hate Twitch streamers, all this shit, and you won't even go out and work to get a gaming computer. It doesn't have to be a $10,000 one, by the way, just so that you can get started with being a small-time Twitch streamer and making it as like a side hustle. You won't even do that. You want it all given to you, and that's not going to be how it's going to work. Another reason why you're a socialist. You just want all the handouts. So how the fuck do you expect to ever get your gaming computer if you're not going to work for it? Because obviously no one's going to buy it for you, Marshall. That didn't work the last time when you doxed yourself hoping that someone would donate one to you. And you also criticize these girls for like starting OnlyFans pages. And you're saying that, oh, well, because I'm a guy, I can't start an OnlyFans. I can't make money off of like selling my farts in jars or whatever the fuck. Marshall, there are men on OnlyFans. If you want to try that out so bad, like, why don't you put yourself on OnlyFans and just see what happens? I'm not saying how much money you're going to make. You could make a lot. You could make nothing. But the fact of the matter is you're just unwilling to try. You're not even willing to go on OnlyFans to see if you can make any money and have it be profitable for you. So don't complain about e-girls and Twitch streamers like that if you're unwilling to put in the work to get yourself a gaming computer, or like go on sites like OnlyFans and try it out and just see if you can make even just a little bit of money. Let's see. Okay, next one is women. That's going to be a good one. All right, Marshall, you set your standards way too high for women. Let's see. You're going to be 26, and let's see, you want a kissless virgin who is never going to want to have oral sex, but will gladly and willingly burp and fart on you and will take a shit on a plate in front of you. I'm sorry, I couldn't help but laugh there because your fetishes are just so ridiculous. Like, Marshall, you're living like in some kind of delusional reality here. You're never going to find a girl like that. Most girls in mine and your age group aren't even virgins. You have to go to like a devoutly religious sect like Jehovah's Witnesses to find like this pure virgin you're looking for. And by the way, like it's been said a million times by like Pebbrick and Royal on air, back when you were in high school, you had a girl ask you out and you turned her away because you said, oh, you're not beautiful and pure enough for me, so no thanks. And then you proceed to drop out of high school because you couldn't get a girlfriend. You fucking idiot. If you had gone out with that girl, you could have at least had a little bit of experience, maybe even lost your virginity, and you wouldn't feel the need to bitch on YouTube like you do now. Let's see. Also, Marshall, do you really think that any woman is going to want to date a man who lives at home with his parents and will not work and have zero income? No, no girl will. I mean, like I said in my first video I made about you, I live with my parents too. And like, I don't really set dating as a priority right now. I'm working towards it, but it's not my number one priority. You seem to make it your number one priority. And in addition to that, you don't want to date. You want to find a wife. No woman is going to marry you right away, Marshall. No woman is going to be from day one of meeting you to, like, say, day 7, we're walking down the altar together. You're fucking delusional. That's not going to happen. So, Marshall, no woman is going to date a man with no income, especially if she's working for herself and will be making a considerable amount more money than you. It's just not going to happen. If you want a wife or a girlfriend so bad, you need to get off your ass and get a job and show her that you're supporting yourself and you can be self-sufficient. Because right now, it's going to look to her that you're going to lean on her for everything. She's going to have to financially support you. She's going to have to emotionally support you because you're not emotionally stable. And it's going to send every girl running. Also, Marshall, the fact that you do live with your parents with no desire to leave is going to be a turnoff to women too. Like, the difference between me and you is I actually have a desire to leave. It's a goal I'm working towards, is trying to move out of my parents' house. You don't want to. And your yes men are backing you up saying, yeah, man, don't ever leave. Don't ever leave. Marshall, you got to leave. No woman is going to date you when she sees that you have no desire to ever leave your parents' basement and that you want to stay there for the rest of your life. You need to get a job and work towards moving out of your parents' house, even if it's in like an RV or a studio apartment. That will increase your chances of finding a girlfriend, believe it or not, more than continuing to live at home with your parents. Let's see here. What we got next? See, Marshall? I'm almost done with page 1, and my video is only at 17 minutes. You go on for 40 minutes about one single topic. Look at how many different topics I'm covering, and I haven't even hit 20 minutes yet. All right, the next one is finances. Marshall, you have no financial responsibility and no common sense with money. Now, I really do believe you bought subscribers. I mean, the footage is out there. And I'm going to give a shout out to the YouTuber who broke that news at the end of my video. But, Marshall, you're an idiot. Marshall, do you even know how these subscriber factories work? They're big warehouses, usually located in places like China, and it's wall-to-wall smartphones. And these smartphones all have different account names, and all of them are controlled by a central computer. And all they got to do is, once they get your payment, they put in your username, and they hit the computer command subscribe, and every single smartphone on that wall subscribes to your account. They're all bots. None of them interact with your YouTube channel beyond hitting that subscribe button, which is why me and others have noticed that despite your sub count jumping up, which coincidentally it no longer is because you no longer have an income to buy more subscribers, that your post engagement and your comment number of comments you're getting on your videos, it hasn't gone up significantly. Nowhere to match 15,000. And you try to claim, oh, well, it's just because my videos got more popular on TikTok and a bunch of people came over from TikTok. You don't even have 15,000 on TikTok. Marshall, you bought subscribers. Just own up to it. We all know. The transcripts of your conversation with someone, I don't know who the hell they were, came out. And yeah, you said, I want to buy subs. You bought subscribers, Marshall. That's stupid. Like, I think you had it in your mind that I hate my job. I want to make YouTube my career, I'll just buy subscribers to try to get myself more popular, and then I can quit this job. How'd that work out for you? Yeah, you're not going to make any money on YouTube. You're going to be back down to $50 a month just solely off of YouTube like you were before you ever got this job, where you're getting 60 hours a week at this factory with 20 hours of that being overtime. You're making more at that job than you would ever make on YouTube, and you just walked away from that. It's just sad and pathetic. Another thing is, I told Royal on air this in one of her chats on one of her streams, but I don't know if Pebrick knows this or not. So Pebrick, if you're watching this, this might be the first time you're hearing this. You said in a video a long time ago that your grandma out in California gave you about $5,000 for your college education. She did that for you and all your siblings. And the first thing you did when you got that money is you went out and bought yourself a PS4, a new TV, and a bunch of video games. And apparently, I think you said that your dad cut you off from the rest of that money because he saw how irresponsibly you were spending it. And you said that you're humiliated to ever see your grandma out in California again because you don't want to face her and have to admit that you blew the money she gave you for your education on video games. Marshall, if you would have invested that money into your future, you would not be crying and complaining on YouTube right now. You said in one of your videos after you got your job that there's a big need in the country for plumbers and HVAC technicians. Look, you could have had some of that money from your grandma to go and enroll in a training program to get certified to be a plumber, to be an HVAC technician, to be an electrician, and you could have a really good paying job right now, but you didn't do that, you idiot. You thought, oh, I'm gonna go and buy video games to just play video games all day. Fucking idiot. Marshall, you did this to yourself. That's why, like, even Pebrick's not even feeling bad for you anymore. Look, Marshall, you need to get better with money and start saving your money and not blowing it on stupid shit like a PS4 and video games. All right? Because you're getting older, and, you know, another thing I got to say is that the longer you wait to start working and holding down a job, the longer you're going to have to work before you hit retirement. I know that's what you would love. You would love to be retired because that's the only alternative to being a welfare recipient, is to being a retiree, where you get your Social Security money and your, like, IRA money coming in. Well, you know what, Marshall? The longer you wait to start working, the longer you're going to have to work. You're going to have to be in your 70s and 80s and still working while other people in their 60s are retired. Why? Because you waited longer to start working. And I can tell what you're going to be like. You're going to be raging at the world that all these other people get to retire at 65, and you still have to work to like 75 because you started working later in life. You're shooting yourself in the foot big time here. Just take some money, go get certified to be like a plumber, electrician, or HVAC technician. You don't even have to do that your whole life. It'd be a good paying job so you can get out and support yourself, but I know you probably won't do that. And another thing I wanted to say, Marshall, is that you aren't cut out for blue collar work, it doesn't seem like. You can't handle blue collar work at all. And like Pebrick was saying, he was hoping that you working blue collar would toughen you up and give you thicker skin, because I've worked blue collar since I was like 17. And yeah, blue collar guys rip on each other a lot, and it does thicken your skin. Marshall, I bet you anything, at these factory jobs you had, these guys started ripping on you and you ran to your car crying. You ran out of the building crying or whatever. You're like, I never want to go back again. These guys are so mean to me. Marshall, you can't handle blue collar work. It's like a parent from the last 3 jobs you had. You cannot handle blue collar work. And another thing too is that you're not qualified right now for white collar work, and you refuse to do anything to get qualified to have a white collar job. So Marshall, you need to either suck it up, go back to working blue collar so that you can afford the training for a white collar job, or maybe sit down and have a talk with your parents and say that you want to pursue education so that you can train for and get a white collar job. Because like I already said, not working and leeching off your parents for the rest of their life, it's not an option for you. So let's see here. Oh yeah, another thing. Just today, you put out a video complaining about how expensive everything is. Marshall, you're just making things even more expensive for yourself by not working. How much do you think you're going to be able to afford when you have zero income? You're going to go through what you have and you're going to be able to afford nothing at all. You're just making it so much worse on yourself. Like, you really think it's a good idea to complain about how expensive everything is instead of go and work so that you can actually afford some of these expensive things? Like, Marshall, don't even complain if you're not going to work to try to afford these things. Because you going on YouTube and complaining about how expensive they are is getting you nowhere. Yeah, because you're going to have less purchasing power as time goes on, as you go through whatever money you had from this last job that you just quit. You're going to have less purchasing power, and eventually you're going to have no purchasing power whatsoever. So you better get your ass back out there and get another job. Another thing, Marshall, is your spending priorities are ass backwards. Like I already said about you blowing the money from your grandma, you want to blow all your money you get as soon as you get it. You do not want to save. And that's fucking you up big time, not wanting to save any money. Marshall, you're never going to be able to afford to move out your gaming PC, whatever the fuck, if you don't save money, if you don't throw that money you're getting into a savings account. You said that you wanted to buy like a new Samsung Galaxy phone or something because you felt like, oh, I'm going to get fired from my job soon, so I better hurry up and spend the money as quickly as I get it before they fire me. That's so backwards and like has zero common sense. Normally when people think they're about to get fired, they hold on to every cent that they have and only spend money on the essentials. You don't go and blow it on a brand new smartphone because you think that you're going to be out of an income soon. No, you save everything you have. Your priorities when it comes to money and spending are ass backwards, and you need to change that. Let's see, we've just about reached the end. Just about reached the end, Marshall, at 27 minutes. I'm still doing better than you with your 45-minute rants about like gaming computers and e-girls that you just talk yourself into circles about. All right, motivation. You don't have any motivation, Marshall. You have zero motivation to do anything but stand in the woods every single day and complain about how unfair your life is and how much of a victim you are. Like I've said in my first video I made, just stop going on YouTube, get out of the online world and go live your life. All right, we're at the very last point, Marshall. Look at that. Very last point at 28 minutes. All right, and the last point now is your name. Your ridiculous name change. Marshall, you really think that you changing your name to the Joker is going to make everyone stop calling you Marshall Mathers the Fourth? If you type in Marshall Mathers the Fourth on YouTube, you still come up. You still come up. Notice how people like Pebrick, Royal on Air, Mortal Kombat, all of them, they're still titling their videos Marshall Mathers the Fourth. They didn't go along with it and change to the Joker. Marshall, we're always going to see you as Marshall Mathers the Fourth. You changing your name to the Joker did absolutely nothing but embarrass yourself. So you might as well just change your name back. Because like we're never going to see you as the Joker. We're always going to see you as Marshall Mathers the Fourth. Just change your name back. That's what you built your YouTube channel on anyway. So just change it back and ditch the Joker thing because that's just stupid. And also, ditching your intro and no longer doing, hey guys, it's Marshall Mathers the Fourth here, back to you today with another video. Ditching that did nothing to stop Pebrick from making fun of your intro in his videos. It accomplished absolutely nothing. So you might as well go back to saying that too if you want. Because Pebrick's not going to stop just because you stopped. Just don't let anyone like dictate what you do on your YouTube channel. If it's not going to stop any trolls, we're going to still troll you regardless. So you might as well just go back to doing things however you want. Oh, and also, I should add this at the end. I didn't put this on the list. You're a fucking disgusting pervert. I didn't know about your fucking pedo videos until like Royal on Air started covering them, and you deleted them off your channel. You're a fucking disgusting scumbag. Like, you're never going to live that down, and I'm glad you're never going to live that down. Those videos aren't even on your YouTube channel anymore. Someone else uploaded them to YouTube on their own channels, and now it's out of your hands. They're never going to be off YouTube. That's going to be haunting you for the rest of your life like it deserves to be. So, one last thing I want to say is, give up on being an actor, because you don't want to be any public figure, because that's going to come up and that's just going to destroy your reputation as soon as it gets built up. Just live your life in a low profile job. That's all you can do at this point, because that's going to come up and destroy your reputation as a public figure, and rightfully so. All right, so I've reached the end of the video now, Marshall. I hope you watched it all the way to the end. And I just want to give some shout outs to people who you think are your trolls. But so you can turn the video off, and I just want to give some shout outs real quick. So shout out to Pebrick. Shout out to Mortal Kombat. I know Mortal Kombat's channel is a little hard to find, because if you look up Mortal Kombat, it's just going to give you a bunch of search results for the video game. So type in Mortal Kombat Marshall Mathers IV to find his channel. Shout out to Royal on Air. Shout out to the Joker President Harangatang. He's the one who posted the text transcripts of Marshall buying subscribers. Shout out to Ooga Man. And shout out to Fucky Wucky, the guy who called him Bernie Sanders Jr. and cut down his woods, who I believe now changed his name to Jungle Muffin. So, go subscribe to those channels if you aren't subscribed to them already. Anyone who sees this is probably already subscribed to them. And Marshall, it's been fun, and I'll see you next time. This is Blazing Bad 420, and I'm out.